You think because you wear that suit you can talk down to me?" The waitress's voice cut sharp through the glittering hall. Her tray of empty glasses rattled in her hands, but her eyes didn't flinch. The billionaire froze mid-sip his glass. Hovering inches from his lips, a murmur swept through the room as the gala crowd turned their heads. No one ever spoke to him like that. Not here, not anywhere. He lowered the glass, slowly, his gaze heavy with disbelief. "Say that again," his tone carried more curiosity than anger. The waitress straightened her back, setting the tray on a nearby table, her apron stained from hours of work. "You heard me, sir. Money may buy silence from everyone else, but it won't buy mine. Not tonight." Gasps echoed across the hall. Some laughed nervously, others waited for her to be dragged out. But the billionaire lifted his hand, stopping the guards who had already stepped forward. His eyes stayed locked on hers, something in her fire catching him off guard. "You are brave," he said finally. "But bravery without reason is just noise. What reason do you have?" Her lips curved into a small, fearless smile. "The reason is simple. I've seen men like you all my life, men who think respect is optional for people who serve them. But I know respect is not earned by wealth. It's earned by how you treat the ones you think are beneath you." Her words landed heavy like stones dropped in still water, the ripples reaching every corner of the room. The billionaire leaned back, studying her like a puzzle he couldn't solve. His world had been built on deals, intimidation, and silence. But here stood a woman with no fortune, no power, yet daring to challenge him before his empire of admirers. For the first time in years, he felt a question burn in his chest, a question he wasn't sure he wanted answered. "Who are you really?" The hall seemed to shrink as silence pressed on every wall, guests holding their breath to see what would follow. The waitress stepped forward, her voice calm but sharp. "I am someone who cleans up the broken glasses after men like you toast their victories. I am someone who serves the meals you forget to thank for. And I am someone who knows that a crown made of money still falls when the head beneath it is empty." The billionaire's chest tightened at the words. He had faced rivals, lawyers, politicians, yet none had struck him this raw. His guards exchanged uneasy glances, waiting for his signal, but he still hadn't lifted his hand. His lips parted slowly, and he asked, almost against his own pride, "Why speak now? Why risk everything for words?" She did not blink. "Because silence is worse than hunger," she replied. "Hunger only hurts the body, but silence kills the soul." Her honesty lanced through the glitter and the gold of the gala, slicing away the false smiles that floated in the air. The billionaire leaned forward, elbows on the table, eyes narrowing, not in anger, but in something closer to fascination. "You are bold," he said, his voice low, measured, but boldness has a cost. Are you ready to pay it? She tilted her chin higher, her reply, cutting clean. "Respect is worth more than a paycheck, and if speaking costs me this job, then I will still have more than men who buy obedience, but never earn it." Murmurs rose louder, some guests whispering that she was foolish, others whispering that she was right. The billionaire sat motionless, staring at the waitress who had turned the entire hall against his silence, and for the first time, he wondered if maybe this night was not about his wealth, but about a truth he had long forgotten. The billionaire pushed his chair back, the sound scraping against the marble like thunder. Every eye followed him as he rose, towering over the waitress, yet she didn't step away. He looked down at her, his expression unreadable. And then he asked softly, almost too soft for the room to hear, "Do you think I am a cruel man?" She met his gaze, steady as stone. "I think you are a powerful man who forgot what kindness feels like. And that makes you dangerous, not just to others, but to yourself." A ripple of shock swept through the hall. No one had ever dared put words like that in his face. The billionaire's jaw tightened, his hand curling slightly at his side, but instead of rage, a strange stillness washed over him. He gestured for the music to stop. The violins died, mid-note, the Gala falling silent. He turned slowly to the crowd, his voice echoing clear. "She says I have forgotten kindness. Tell
Me, have I?" He scanned the room, and not one person spoke. They shifted in their chairs, their silence more condemning than any answer. The billionaire turned back to the waitress, his eyes darker now. "You risked everything tonight to tell me this. Why?"
He asked it not like a man demanding obedience, but like one seeking something he could not name. She lifted her chin because someone needed to, and no one else here had the courage. For a long moment the hall remained frozen. Then the billionaire did something no one expected. He laughed, not mockingly, but with something that sounded almost human, almost broken. The guards looked at each other, unsure of what to do, as he leaned closer and whispered, "You may have just done what millions could, not you made me listen." The laughter faded, but its echo left the hall trembling. The billionaire stood still, his eyes fixed on the waitress, as if searching for a piece of himself in her defiance. The guests shifted uneasily, waiting for him to crush her with power. Yet he did the opposite. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a sealed envelope, placing it gently on the silver tray she had set aside moments earlier. His voice carried across the room. "This is not payment, this is recognition." The waitress frowned, uncertain, but he continued, "You reminded me tonight that fear builds walls and truth breaks them. For years I surrounded myself with walls so high even I could not see past them, and you, a waitress with nothing to lose, tore them down with a few words." She stared at him, stunned, the weight of his confession pressing heavier than gold. Gasps spread as he turned to the crowd, his tone firm and raw. "Respect is not optional, not here, not anywhere. This hall, this empire, my name.
"It all means nothing if I cannot honor the ones who hold it up with their hands and hearts." He pointed at the waitress. "She risked everything to speak the truth. That is strength far beyond money." The room erupted, some clapping, others whispering.
But the billionaire ignored them. He looked back at her eyes, soft in a way no one had ever seen. "I don't know your story yet, but if you are willing tomorrow, you will not serve this table again. You will sit at it." She blinked, unable to hide the shock, her breath catching as tears threatened, but her spine remained straight, and for the first time in years the billionaire felt smaller and freer all at once, because a waitress had reminded him that even kings can be humbled when truth finds its voice. If this story moved you, share it, so others never forget that one selfless act can rewrite a destiny in ways no one sees coming.